Well. So, from the channel Bad Wolf, link in the description to their website. Not sponsored, they're just cool. Recently ran a Guild Clash event. Now, Guild event basically 10 players. You assign a guild at random. For those of you less than know, guild is basically a pair of colours. You build a deck around it, and then you play some commander with it. We had 2 pods of 3, 1 pod of 4, because, 10 colour pairs, 10 guilds. I drew Simic. I didn't build Simic. I built Quandrix. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, yeah, hang on, Simic and Quandrix are the same thing. No, they're not. Simic is green and blue. Quandrix is blue and green. Very important difference. There is nothing Simic in this deck. There is only Quandrix and also frogs, because as you saw from the thumbnail, Quandrix frog pal, baby. So, let's take a look at the deck, and then I'll quickly recap the event itself. The boring stuff first, land base. Island. Forest. Some islands and some forests. There'll be a link in the description to the deck list. Non-basics. Golden Wells and Terramorphic Expanse. The full cycle of Capenna, Fetches, Okola Village and Lilypad Village, because frogs. Temple of Mystery, because I happen to have one spare. Quandrix Campus, because Quandrix. And Reliquary Tower, because hand size can matter here. I only got like 3 enablers on the go for it. Let's quickly check the dedicated ramp suite. We have fairly basic Soul Ring, Heat Harvest, Arcane Signet, Decanter of Endless Water, and Sidebot, signed by Wally and Christian from Chad Magic. So, only one I highlight here is Heat Harvest because it's such an interesting one in the context of the deck. When it enters and when I sacrifice it, I may search my library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Which, genuinely kind of neat, In the context of the deck especially, this can get me quite a bit of value. So, that's the ramp. Let's do interaction next. A lot of this, if you've seen the Volo video, this started out as the Volo deck, so there's a few phases in here like So Shiny, Aetherize, Run Away Together, Royal Treatment, Cosmic Hunger, Reclamation Stage, replacing Return to Nature as this is a creature, which is important for reasons we'll get to. Some of you have figured it out by now. Based on the fact that I've got good effects on permanents. Essence Capture, Polywallop, because hey, I'm in frogs. It's good now. Decisive Denial, my absolute favourite of the breaking news showcases. Bear Dismayed to discover food chain keeps going. Snakeskin Veil, Base Within, Wear Down, Unable to Screen, replacing something a similar thing. And new to the deck, Amphibian Downpour. An enchantment with Flash and Storm. Because sure. So, Draw Suite, again, mostly just pulled from Volo. Curate, Shadow Course, Compulsive Research, Impulse, Factual Fiction. Candlekeep Sage is a new one. Seeds of Secrets and Catalogue. Candlekeep Sage is in here because this, for the category they'll get to right now, Flicker. Yeah. So, for those of you unfamiliar, well, actually, let's look at the commander first before going into that stuff. Now we get to the relevant commander things. Tanazir Quandrix, then. A 5-mana 4/4 Flying Trample. Not bad. When it enters the battlefield, double the number of 1/1 counters on target creature you control. Now we're getting somewhere. Whenever it attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to Tanazir Quandrix's power and toughness until end of turn. That's the fun part. So, first things first, stuff that interacts with the counter doubling then. Obviously Candlekeep Sage is in here as part of the draw engine. As one of the goals of this deck is to try and flicker the commander as much as possible. May as well get value from it. Then we have the Fairy's Time Twist. Basically a slow flicker and then with an additional counter on it if it's a creature. We like it. Flicker things put counters on stuff. Ghostly Flicker. Exile 2 to target artifacts, creatures and or lands you control. This is the interesting one. I like that you can do lands. Suddenly you just get 3 mana, 2 landfall triggers. Sure, we take it. Planar Incision. Nice simple one. Exile it, return it, it gets a counter. Gossip's talent, a little bit slower, but whenever a creature control deals combat damage to a player, which Tanazir Quandrix can pretty reliably do as a Flampler, you may exile a creature, you base deck and flicker it. We like Splash Portal, the cheapest way of doing it. Can potentially draw me cards. Crucially, it's 1 mana, nice little cantrip. Well, that's been how it works. If I stopped long enough to question it, I'd lose my legs. Splash Portal, we love it. And finally, Displace. Exile 2, return to the battlefield. I believe there's one that I'm not bringing in here, Blink. I just wasn't able to get a copy of it in time. Quickly look at hand size enablers or counters adders. We have basic stuff here. Wizard class, fully upgrade. Whenever I draw a card, I put a 1/1 counter on something. Roaring Earth. Whenever I land in, I put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle. Master Chef, as long as I can draw my commander, I think I the counters. Treat a Kazandu, land enters, put a counter. So far, so simple. Trample enablers, because I'm going to be the goal is to get stuff big. I probably need some of that. Garrick's Uprising. It lets me draw a card if I have my commander out. Pretty handy. Otherwise, it's Garrick's Uprising. Case of Trample Garden. ETU counts on something we like. Still creatures control a total power 8 or greater. Nice and easy to get. Solve 20 attack, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. We like. Against Travel to end a turn, we love. So, the miscellaneous funny. South Coast Sailor. Kind of creature is basically, it can't be blocked if it's attacking the opponent with if it's attacking the player with the opponent with the highest life. Very funny. Raised by Giants. Base power and toughness 10/10. Which means that I can very easily make my commander a 10/10, which will then make all of my creatures base power and toughness 10/10 on attack. But if my commander has counters on it, like if, for example, I have that in Master Chef, base 11/11, everything gets real big real quick. We love it. So, Quandrix, just to get to the reason why the deck is called Quandrix Frog Pile. Quandrix command, it's in here because it's Quandrix. Quandrix Cultivator. It's basically no sad bot, but the land doesn't attack, but it has to be a forest or island. We like Simone, possibility of extra landfall, possibility of card draw, and it's Quandrix. Quandrix Plague Mage, when you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets a counter. We like. Finally then, Frogs. Froggy bip, smell beastie. Anyway, most of these Bloomburrow, there's like 3 guest frogs. We'll highlight those as we get to them. Dowerport Mage. Leave that without dying, draw a card. Let me bounce stuff to hand. 20-toed Toad. Now, bearing in mind this is a budget event, 50 quid for the 50 quid total for the deck, no more than £2 a card. Commander, again, no more than £2, and anyway, 20-toed Toad was a very risky case, as we watched the price tick up. We're using card market average via an app called Manabox, so we're watching the price tick up in real time. Like, is it going to be in? And then our judge for the event, friend of the channel and I, stepped in and said that if we can provide proof that it was in price range when we're building the deck, which we have been doing, I was running hashtag Frogwatch on the Bad Wolf Discord server, then it's fine. So me and friend of the channel Steve, who pulled Azorius, both had 20-toed Toad in the decks. Anyway, a maximum hand size is 20, we like. Attack with 2 more creatures, put 1/1 counter on it, and draw a card. Very useful. When attacks you win the game if there are 20 or more counters on it, or you have 20 or more cards in hand. Now, there was one game, I think the first test game I did with this deck, where I won with a Toad. Because I got like 6 counters on it over the course of a few turns. Someone did try and steal it on the grounds that he can very easily put counters on stuff. He was playing Mothman. However, I then realised that I had this guy in Quandrix on board and 2 flicker spells in hand. I flicker Quandrix, double counters 12. Flicker Quandrix, double counters 24. Swing, I win. Yeah, 20-toed Toad, very strong. Sunshower Druid. ETB, put a 1/1 counter target creature, gain a life. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. It's decent. Croaking counterpart. Never drew into it, but we like. Lily Splash meant this doesn't count as one of my guest frogs, as the frog itself is not from Innistrad. The frog could be from anywhere. Frug is a sincerest form of flattery. I agree. Lily Splash Mentor. Nice and simple. Let's me flicker my stuff. 3-3 Scribe. Let's me put counters on things. Burg Befuddler. Look, it's a Strixhaven Frog. Go on. Poison Dart Frog. Look at this little guy. How can you say no to that face? Pond Prophet, ETB, draw a card, making it a nice, easy flicker target. Valley Nightcaller, when there are frogs, and some of the relevant things enter, put a 1/1 counter on it. We like. Reflections of Litjara, more frog per frog. Because if I'm going to be bouncing my frogs to hand and recasting them, I may as well get more frogs per frog. Longer of a Lurker, again, lets me flicker things. Clement the Worrywart lets me bounce things to hand and turns all my frogs into Mad Dogs. Dreamdew Entrancer. I got quite a clever play with this in one of the rounds where I cast this and on ETB had it tap itself and put stun counters on itself so I could draw 2. And then later on I was able to flicker it, put the stun counter on something less relevant. Very useful. I do like it. Jade Avenger. How can I not run Jade Avenger? Look at this lovely little man's. Froggy fighter at the gate. Draw your sword and meet your fate. It's a frog samurai of Bushido. How can I not run this boy? Clifftop Lookout, ETB, real to hit land. Mistbreath Elder is a very funny one with Tanazir. So, here's the loop, right? At the beginning of upkeep, I use Mistbreath Elder to return Tanazir Quandrix to its owner's hand. To my hand. Right, I put a 1/1 counter on Mistbreath Elder. I pay 5 mana, which I definitely have by this point as Quandrix is out. I cast Quandrix from hand. Double the counter on something. Even if there's no other target, it can double the counter on Mistbreath Elder. Suddenly, this goes from being a 2-2 to a 3-3 to a 5-5. And then every one of my turns I can do that. So next turn, it gets another counter. It now has 3, it doubles to 6. After 2 turns of that, Mistbreath Elder is an 8-8. If I ulti it again, 1 more counter. It gets 7 counters, it doubles to 14 counters. Mistbreath Elder is now a 16-16. We like. Anyway, I also had spare in the deck box by a mathematician. My second pick for 20 Toad wasn't available, just because it's Quandrix and it's also a nice flicker target. It does counter things, you know? It does what the deck wants to do. And finally, the Lucky Chicken. This guy paid dividends, because this is the part where I talk about the event itself. So, round 1, I was up against friend of the channel Toru in Selesnya, and our Boros player. Toru was running Karametra, this thing, and Boros was running Arabella as a Heir Apparent deck, which was pretty scary. Well, Heir Apparent and just token general little guy stuff. Taught me through a combat for the game, but could get a turn 4 win, which, like, you know, holy shit. Anyway. So, that was what I was up against. As such, I realised that I had no choice but to focus down the Boros player, as the burn was the biggest threat. Friend of the channel Toru unfortunately bricked her opening hand. So, well, didn't so much break the opening hand, was just kept drawing into stuff she couldn't use, all the high cost stuff for late game, rather than the stuff that lets her get, like the 2-card combo lets her get, like, literally every land of the deck on board at once, which is incredible to see. Anyway, yeah. I had some decent enchantments on the board to pump Quandrix and pump my stuff. Toru removed them both. And then I drew into Raised by Giants, and it was so Jova for everyone else. Because, yeah, at that point, Tanazir is a 10-10. No one else had flying. 2 turns, it's lethal. 2 turns against Toru, it's lethal again, basically, which... Yes, they both had, like, a little bit of command damage to begin with. So round 1, didn't get anything noteworthy from my loot pack. Actually, yes, I did. I got Overprotect, which has the best flavor text in Bloomburrow. Anyway. Yeah, game 2 was the winner's table, putting me against friend of the channel Pepper, who was in Golgari, with that one wolf from Kaldheim that exiles things and is scary as hell, this guy. And friend of the channel Josh, who had built Tomic, Wielder of Law, has also budget Planeswalkers, which was an absolute thing of beauty. Anyway, that one, yeah. We realised that we had to focus down Pippa just because the board wipe thing was too dangerous. I at one point managed an excellent play with Amphibian Downpour. I asked her if she likes frogs. She did. I turned her commander into a frog. Shenanigans, we approve. And anyway, we both realised that we had to focus her down. I had a way of killing her on board, which would ensure that my board couldn't be wiped. Use that. Josh hit Urza's Ruinous Blast, which is a really funny one in a Planeswalker deck, because all Planeswalkers are legendary. All his shit was completely fine. And, yeah, everything but my commander was wiped. I had to rig my board from scratch. But unfortunately, he didn't have many walkers out when he did that. And, while we did both have flyers in the command zone, I was able to very slowly win the commander damage game. Because, like, if he blocked with his commander, it would die. He chose to let damage through. I had no choice but to let damage through, but his is only doing 2. Quandrix was in for 4. It got to the point where he was on 16 commander damage, and on declaration of no blocks against Quandrix, I hit it with Snakeskin Veil, pumping it to 21, or pumping it to a 5/5, hitting Josh for game. We won the fucking event, lads. Quandrix Frogpile won. Quandrix is now the best guild in Ravnica. What can I say? Anyway, yeah, prize pack for the second round had fucking 3-Tree City, full art Autumn, which I'll point out, here's the value of 3-Tree City on Mana Box at time of, well, as of last night when the event took place. Here's the cost of my deck. 3-Tree City is worth more than all of this put together. It's brilliant, I love it. So, yeah, what's next for this deck? Well, I will be leaving the event deck list exactly as is, but this has earned the right to stick around. I know I'm planning on doing one deck per colour identity, but as we've already covered, Simic is green and blue, Quandrix is blue and green. It gets to stay. There's my commander. So, where does the deck go from here then? Like I mentioned, there is one more flicker piece that I want to add. Then, I actually did pick up a couple more trample enablers for the deck, including this Primal Rage right here, which didn't quite arrive in time for the event. So already, we are cutting Candlekeep Sage, just because the deck only sometimes wants to flicker the commander. And sliding in this Primal Rage as a third hard trample enabler. Other than that, I believe my only real plan is to slap in an Isochron Scepter. Should be good to go at that point, really. Well, Isochron Scepter, the one more flicker spell, then yeah. We have a Quandrix deck as well as a Simic deck. Because they are different things. They are different things. They are different things.